everyone, it's Cassidy Paris, and welcome to the Backstage Unplugged podcast. Today I'm speaking with Michael Sweet. Michael, thank you so much for being with us here today. We really appreciate it.
What is going on? It's great to see you. And it's evening for me and early morning for you, right?
Yeah, it is. The time difference, it permitted this time.
Wow. Yeah, you're way ahead. I believe 12 or 13 hours ahead. And God bless you. My gosh, applause to you for getting up so early to do this.
Oh no, it's 11 a.m. so it's not too bad. But usually the time difference from the States, Canada, it can get tricky at times. But yeah, like I said, I appreciate your time and I'm rapt to be talking to you as well.
Well, it's great to be talking to you. And as you were mentioning earlier, we met before. And
Yes.
I clearly remember it now. And that's amazing that you're making some noise and you have a deal with Frontiers, and you've got I'm assuming an album out already, correct?
Yeah, I do. And yeah, it's great to be label mates as well. Like I grew
Wow,
up on Stryper and obviously more recently your solo stuff. So yeah, it's very exciting for me.
that is incredible. And I wish you nothing but the best with this podcast as well. But thanks for wanting to talk to me. I mean that's humbling to say the least. I'm not anything special. I don't have a lot to say, but hey, I'll do my best.
Thank you. Yeah, I remember like when I was younger, when my dad and I would travel to school, he'd play songs like "To Hell with the Devil," and I would just be so buzzed out by your voice. So yeah, it's super exciting for me, and we're playing on the Monsters of Rock cruise next year together as well, which is exciting.
That is awesome. That is incredible. Yeah, we try to we don't do the Monsters of Rock every year.
Yeah,
We do it every 2 or 3 years, and it's probably a good thing for them and for us because we don't want to oversaturate ourselves or the market or what have you. But you know what? That's amazing, and we will definitely catch your set, and I hope you can catch ours or sets, I
of
should say.
course. Yeah,
And it'll be hopefully we'll pray for good seas, calm seas, no
yeah,
rough
yeah.
weather.
I've never done you've done obviously the Monsters of Rock cruise before, and I was gonna chat to you about this, so it's perfect lead in. But yeah, I'm someone that can get a bit car sick, so any tips for the Monsters of Rock cruise?
Well, I would say they do have these little bracelets that you can wear,
Right.
and it's a pressure point, and supposedly they help. I don't get
Okay.
seasick or car sick, so I've never worn one, but people that have worn them have said they work.
Okay.
Uh, some people take, I believe, Benadryl,
Okay. Yeah.
which can make you maybe a little out of it, a little lethargic, maybe. But I mean, people say that helps, that works. And then I would just say, try not to think about it. It seems
Yeah.
to me that the more people think about it, the worse it gets.
Yeah, exactly. Because there's been a couple of people. One of my friends, she does the Monsters of Rock cruise quite frequently, and I had been on a cruise before, so I had like I was so buzzed out because even like obviously I was raised on rock music, and I was raised on you guys and Lita Ford bands that are playing that the cruise. So I've always
Right.
wanted to go as a fan as well. So now to be involved playing it, I'm really excited. But yeah, one of my friends was like, I got so sick. And I was like, I've been on a cruise before, but I haven't performed on a cruise before. So I think
It's
we'll be right.
it's pretty interesting. I'll tell you. Sometimes you get on the stage and it's motionless. There's not any
Yeah.
motion. And it feels like a regular stage. But other times you get on and you can really feel the
Really?
sea. Oh yeah, and you literally get thrown around. Sometimes you lose your balance.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
going to be a
that's
fun
interesting.
one. Yeah.
And then if you're playing up by the pool at night, especially, the wind is just howling sometimes, and you feel like you're going to get blown off the stage.
Well, that'll be an experience for me, I'm sure. And I'm looking forward to hopefully I see your set before and then I can kind of see, how you juggle it and then I can prime myself.
See how a bunch of like four old guys juggle it.
No, it's super cool. Obviously, I want to talk about, you've got a Christmas record coming out, and we were talking a little bit before we just got on the podcast. You've been wanting to do this for like 40 years because the band, it was 40 years last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, our first album came out in '84, so
Mhm.
40-year anniversary last year, and then we released a Christmas single with Reason for the Season, Winter Wonderland. That was in '85,
Hmm.
and it did really well. People seem to really like that, and over the years, it's become kind of a classic. And they say, "When are you making a Christmas album? When are you making a Christmas album?" And we just haven't had the time, according to our schedule. So we decided we're gonna just make it happen, and we did. It's kind of a blur, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
I have to think about what songs are on the album when people ask me. It's like, wait a minute, my mind is just kind of going woo.
yeah,
Uh, but it's really exciting. I don't want to downplay the excitement, and it's something that will live on for year after year.
absolutely, absolutely. You're going to be on all the Christmas playlists now. It's going to be so much fun.
I hope so. I mean, that
Yeah.
would be incredible. Yeah, we want to get out. We're talking about that. We want to do a Christmas tour
Hmm.
and go out, start in, maybe early October and go all the way up until mid-December, and go out and really hit it hard and play all these songs. How long have you been doing this podcast for?
This is so brand new. So
Wow.
I spoke to the social media person at Frontiers, Amy. You've probably been in touch with her before.
Yep.
And I suggested it. I pitched it to them, and I said, "Look, I'd love to do like a kind of a behind the scenes kind of thing, because I feel like it's just a cool niche, and there's not many bands in the scene that are kind of doing this, and I'd love to like learn more about people that I look up to as well, and speak to people about their experiences and stuff. And I think it's fun,
Amazing.
a cool
That's
take
so
on
cool.
yeah.
I'm so happy for you. That's amazing. I mean, you seem like you've been doing it for years. I'll be honest with you.
Oh,
Uh,
that's very sweet. Thank you so much.
very very professional, and that's really cool. I mean, sometimes you do podcasts and they're not so professional, not to name any names, but
Yeah.
you never know what you're going to get or what's going to happen, but you got it together. That's amazing.
Thank you.
Incredible.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And I'm always learning as well. So
We
yeah,
all
it's
are.
super fun, and I want to keep it chill. And obviously, being a musician myself as well, it's kind of cool to listen to people speak about their experiences, and I try to be a sponge and take it all in as well.
That's the way to be, and that's how you learn, and that's how you get better and improve. And I mean, everybody, it doesn't matter who you are, can improve.
Absolutely.
I always use the phrase, the best is yet to come, and people laugh at me for that, but I really believe that. I don't think we've done our best yet.
I
And
totally agree.
it doesn't matter if we're in our 60s or 70s. I mean, keep striving for perfection, and the way you do that is to learn, and like you said, being a sponge, taking it all in. That's incredible.
Yeah, I think that kind of outlook and that mindset is something that my parents really raised me from, like, a young age. I kind of, you're always learning, you're always progressing,
Yep.
there's always going to be something that you can learn in this world. And,
Yep.
my dad was also like very much a person that would take me and listen, and I would listen to so many different genres as well. And obviously I was really raised on rock music,
Yep.
and rock and roll is kind of where my roots is at. But also you can learn from any artist, even if you don't
100%.
you don't dig it. And I think that was a really cool thing that I learned young, because now I can kind of see where he was going with that, and I understand it a lot more
Yeah.
now being in the industry.
I'm with you, and I agree 100%. And that's the way I was growing up too. Fortunately, I had a father and a mother, my mom as well. But my dad would come home. He worked for the railroad, and when he would come home, he would play music for 3, 4, 5 hours before he would go to bed and sleep for
Hmm.
10 hours because he was so tired. But he would play everything from Elvis Presley to Jerry Lee Lewis, and then he would creep into the '60s, and then he would creep into the '70s country. He'd play opera. He loved Caruso, Mario Lanza, Pavarotti, and then he would eventually work his way into Creedence Clearwater Revival, Aerosmith, Rolling Stones. And my dad loved everything, and
That's
and
so
I
cool.
became basically the same person. I listened to Loverboy, and I would listen to Priest right after that.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I I just love good music. It doesn't matter if it's poppy or not. A lot of metalheads have this attitude that it can only be metal, and otherwise, it's not good. And I've never been like that, ever.
Yeah, at the end of the day, a good song is a good song. Hey.
Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah. And you guys obviously been doing this for a very long time. I love albums like In God We Trust, Fallen. But obviously you guys put out an album last year as well, and the response has been amazing.
I tell you, I mean, all things considered, uh, and what I mean by that is the where music is these days. It's not so much about hard sales,
Hmm.
as it was back in the '80s. It was all about hard sales. You'd sell 500,000 copies of an album.
Yeah.
Now you're very fortunate to sell 5,000 copies of an album.
Yeah.
But where it shines now in the music world, obviously, is through digital streaming, digital downloads, and the whole digital world. But we are very blessed as a group that's been around for so long, and we're not getting any younger. We're blessed to still be working with a label that believes in us, and they want to put out our music, and we're able to go in the studio every 2 years and make an album. And it's been like that pretty much since 2005, and
Hmm.
we've released a lot. I mean, a lot of music. Oh my word, I think something like since '05, I want to say maybe 11 Stryper albums, uh, probably 5 or 6 solo albums, maybe more, and then all the other Sweet and Lynch and Sunbomb and Iconic and all these. It's just phenomenal that I'm a very blessed guy that I can do what I love to do, and
Yeah.
a label wants to work with me.
I love it, and I love that consistency about you as well, Michael. Like, I love that you keep putting out music there, and there's never, a moment where you're not doing something. I think that's really special of an artist and of a band as well. Stryper, When We Were Kings is a great album. I love that album. So congrats on that record.
Thank you so much. The whole goal with that album was to try to go back to the past, but not so much so that we were dating ourselves.
Yeah.
It's a really kind of a juggling act of trying to be your classic self, but also relevant and step into 2025 as an old band, an old metal
Mhm.
band or rock band. That's not easy to do. A lot of bands kind of try to reinvent the wheel and reestablish themselves, and they alienate themselves from their audience because they try something completely different. They try to do rap or they try to do country or they try to do, and that's fine,
Yeah.
whatever they want to do. But we didn't try to reinvent the wheel. We just do what we do,
Yeah.
and we try to put little modern touches on it, and that's about it. And so far, people seem to still appreciate what we're doing, and we're very pleased to know that. It's really
Yeah,
cool.
totally. And I think your that fusion in your music really comes through really well. And that new record is a real reflection of what you were just saying. It's fantastic. And I really, really like it.
Thank
Um
you so much. That's awesome. Coming from a young person such as yourself, that's
yeah.
amazing.
Awesome. No, I appreciate that as well. Yeah, so you have an incredible voice. I've always looked up to you as a vocalist and a performer, guitarist. Is there anything you do in particular to keep your voice in check on tours? And I know as a vocalist, touring is, it can be very straining on your body
Oh,
sometimes. Is there
yeah.
any like suggestions you would have to people that
It's
are vocalists?
Well, I tell you, I mean, I can tell you all the ritualistic things that I do. I don't know that they will help,
Mm-hmm.
but I get up. The key, the most important part about being a singer, in my opinion, for me, is sleep.
Yeah.
So I find if I stay up till 4 in the morning, I'm gonna have trouble singing the next night.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
I
just,
totally
it's
agree.
just, yeah. If I get bad sleep, I'm not singing so good. If I get good sleep, I'm singing better. So sleep is number one. That's the most important thing. Obviously, they say hydration is number two. I'd be a hypocrite if I said that because I don't hydrate like I should.
Mm-hmm.
I don't drink enough water and I drink way too much coffee.
Yeah.
So you don't want to listen to Michael Sweet on that stuff. Uh, but drinking lots of water is important and
Yeah.
less coffee. The other thing that I do is I don't do a lot of people believe in warm-ups, vocal coaches and singers, and they
Hmm.
really train their students to warm up, warm up, warm up, warm up. I kind of take the opposite approach.
Okay.
uh, in other words, my warm up involves me doing. I have this little straw, singing straw that I sing
Yeah.
through. I wear it as a clip on my belt,
Hmm.
and I warm up through that for 15 minutes before I go on, 10 minutes maybe, and that's it. I don't you don't hear me backstage doing that
Are
for
you
an hour.
doing trills with the straw? Like, is that what you're doing? Is it in water? Because I have heard of that technique as well.
I have that as well. The one
Right.
in water, and I can't think of the name of it now. But this other singing ring, it's basically like a little brass straw about that long, 3 inches
Hmm.
long, and then it's got a little loop in it, and you can hold your fingers over different holes to make it work better and harder. So it's more tension against your vocal folds.
Right.
And I just kind of do ooh, the vowels, ooh, ah, e, I through that.
Cool.
And
That's
that's
so
pretty much all I do.
interesting.
That's all I do. I find that in the past, I would literally warm up so much that I would go out and have a worse show as a vocalist. And sometimes I would lose my voice from warming up
Mhm.
too much. So
Yeah.
I just have a different approach. And then I try to stay away from dairy. That does a
Yeah.
number on me.
Yeah, yeah. I think that the dairy thing for me as well is something that I found it makes a huge
Oh,
difference.
yeah.
I'm not going anywhere near like a milk or anything or
Yeah.
cheese or anything before a show. But that's really interesting about the straw because I have heard that from a couple of singers, and now I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to test the theory. But the
You
sleep
should. I
thing,
mean, it's good because what it does is as you're blowing and singing, humming into the straw
yeah,
and closing your mouth around the straw, all the focus is through the straw,
yeah.
and it stretches out your vocal folds, and it allows you to for your voice to open up and for you to have a little more clarity and a little more treble in the top end, and just it makes it a little easier to hit some high notes. Is it a miracle? No.
Hmm.
In other words, if your voice is blown out and you do that, are you going to be in perfect form? No.
Yeah.
But it does help. It does
Yeah.
help.
Yeah, no, I think, yeah, I love hearing all this stuff because, like I said, I like to be the sponge and I like to test all the theories and go back and, yeah, that's gonna be a fun one to implement. You're gonna see it on my Instagram next year. Me
Well, look at
warming up
I
Michael Sweet style.
there's you know what I'm telling you. Here's the thing. I mean, the key is just do what makes you comfortable,
Yeah,
and
sure.
whatever makes you comfortable is going to make you sing better. Uh, and don't stress yourself out. Don't try to calm your nerves. Nerves really affect me.
Oh, right, okay.
Like I could sing a song an hour before the show and sound fine. And then I get so stressed out for the show. And when I go out and sing that same song an hour later, it's not so fun because I'm so stressed out. It usually
Mhm.
takes me 2 or 3 or 4 songs to kind of calm down and start singing at my peak. And by the end of the set, I want to go sing it all over again because I'm in better form as a vocalist.
Yeah.
Nerves really do a number on me. So try to stay calm.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's great advice. I really appreciate that as well. And anyone else that's a singer that's listening as well could take on some of that advice too. That's really valuable. Now, you've
And
got
last but not least, Cassidy, last but not least,
yeah.
I was going to say smoke 3 packs of cigarettes right before you go. I know I'm kidding.
Oh, my dad's gonna love that one. He's gonna listen and go, Michael.
No, no, that was a joke.
I know. That's killer. Obviously, you've worked with a bunch of fantastic musicians. My dad and I listened to the Sweet and Lynch stuff. We listened to the Sunbomb stuff. Obviously, that's with George Lynch and Tracy Guns. How was that working with them?
It's amazing. I mean, I'll be honest with you. Sadly, we weren't in the same studio.
Right.
When,
Okay.
when,
Yeah.
when George tracked his parts, when Tracy tracked his parts, we were in different studios. But for Sweet and Lynch, I produced that, and I was in the studio with Brian Tishy and James Laminzo. So they were
Hmm.
there. I really feel I come from the old school of it's important for the band to be together.
Okay. Yeah.
And all the Stryper albums are done that way. The band is eating,
Uh huh.
uh, recording, sleeping, hang. We live together for 2 to 3 weeks, and that's how we make our albums.
That's cool. I love that.
And you hear it. You hear the difference versus if we did it remotely and everyone did it in their own studios at home. You would literally hear the difference. There's a little less of an energy. Something happens to the energy and the excitement of the album. I can't really explain it, but it's a very big deal and very important to be in the same room as a band when you're making a band album.
Yeah, yeah, no, and I completely I completely agree with that. I think like you said, there's a certain energy. Everyone's got the same end goal, and everyone wants to make the best record possible. So I could completely see how that would be the case. That's so
Exactly.
cool. Do you think you'd ever do some shows with either of those?
You know what? I would love to. I've
Yeah,
tried. I've literally said to George, "Hey, let's perform. Let's go tour." Well, we can't. We need rehearsal. Okay, well, we're going to be on Monsters of Rock together. Let's do a couple songs together. You
yeah,
come up, I'll come up. Whatever. Take your pick.
yeah,
And George will say, "Oh, there's always some reason why it can't happen."
yeah,
And that's nothing against George. It's just
yeah, of
unfortunate.
course.
I wish we could make it happen. I think if Sweet and Lynch went out and did a tour, I think people would be excited about that. That would be really cool and really different.
I'd be excited. My dad would be excited. So you've got two people there already. So,
Well,
George,
it
if
would
you
be
ever hear
cool.
this, I'm an advocate for this tour.
It would be amazing. And here's the sad part: there's some really cool songs
Yeah,
that would really sound great live, and it's just sad that we haven't done that. I don't know if we will. He's busy. I'm really busy. It's so hard to make the schedules and the stars align.
of
It's
course.
very difficult. But gosh, I really hope we can pull that off.
Yeah, I hope so too. But yeah, no. Until then, I'll be listening to the record and loving it. So yeah. Obviously for listeners that know Stryper, the black and yellow combo, it's just iconic. It's a lot of the time how people identify the band as well. I want to know who came up with it.
Well, you probably, if you talk to each guy in the band, you're going to probably get slightly different stories.
Right.
Um, and I would say, definitely, without question, it was more my brother's thing, Robert.
Okay.
Robert's kind of known, he's known as the visual timekeeper. And the reason why he has that name and that term goes with Rob is because he's very visual
Mhm.
and he was always the visual guy. So we would go out to hit all the clubs on a Friday night, and Rob would stay home taping and painting stuff.
Wow.
That's
That's
what he
cool.
loves to do. And yellow and black was always his thing. And he started painting his drum kit right after the Van Halen album came out. I think
Mhm.
Edward Van Halen played a part in that. Rob doesn't really think so, but I think even subconsciously he did.
Yeah.
And it just kind of progressed from there. Rob started painting and taping everything, and then eventually everything was yellow and black. I mean, if you walked in our studio back in the day, you'd get a headache within like a minute because the walls, the ceiling, the carpets, the guitars, the cables, the mic stands, everything was yellow and black.
So you guys went away from the yellow and black for a while. Was that push from outside, or was that more a decision that you guys made collectively as a band?
I think to a degree it was pushed from outside, but more so it was pushed from ourselves. We got tired of being labeled or called the bumblebees and kind of being a bit of a mockery in the music world. And at least this is how it felt back in the day.
Hmm.
And we just, we wanted to change everything. We wound up changing our sound, our message, our lyrics, our look, everything. And I look back on those times. I wish we hadn't done that, to be honest, because I felt like we really had established ourselves and we had
Yeah.
something great, and we were unique and original. And I felt like we kind of threw that away to a degree with Against the Law, but we came around full circle, excuse me, and we became the Yellow and Black Attack again in 2005 with Reborn. And here we
Yeah.
are. We've been doing it ever since. I mean, I'm looking around. Everything's yellow and black here in my studio as well.
I love it. You know what? I remember my dad saying, like, when I was talking to him a bit about the interview that I'm doing today, and he said I used to like draw the Stryper like yellow and black logo on my books in school, and that's how people identified you. And I'm so glad that you guys came back to it as well, because it's so cool. I love it. There's a massive coolness factor about it.
Well, it's the thing is whether you like it or not. I mean, some people like it, and some people don't.
Hmm.
Uh, but the thing is, I don't think anybody can deny that there is something about it that's recognizable that people recall. So
Totally.
often, when people say, "You in a band?" and I say, "Yeah, Stryper," and they'll say, "Never heard of you," and I'll say, "Yellow and Black." Oh yeah, the Yellow and Black guys, and they remember us by that.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's very important. It really is.
It is. And establishing that for the brand would have been huge. Like all the merchandise and stuff, like you said, it was so identifiable. It still is so identifiable. And I love that about you guys as well.
Well, it's funny, and I say this humbly, but that you mentioned merchandise. Back in the day, we were with a company called Nice Man
Hmm.
Merchandise, and they would travel with us. We had three buses out on the road, and they had their own truck that they would drive in,
Yeah.
uh, and Jamie and Ron. And they would walk out of the venue at the end of the night, each one of them with a suitcase, a big suitcase,
Hmm.
handcuffed to their hands. And each guy would have one. They'd come on the bus and they'd set them down and open them up, and they were just filled with cash. And it was mind-boggling. I'm talking when I say cash, I'm talking about between 100, 200, $300,000 of cash.
Wow.
And they were the same company that handled Prince at the time, and eventually Van Halen and whatnot. And we broke tons of records back in the day. So yeah, the merchandise was just off the chain. It was insane.
Yeah, yeah. And totally, like, that's not even like, when you were saying humble, like, that's such a killer thing to talk about as well. And it really does show the effect of like something like that yellow and black combo that you guys went with. And it made a huge difference to you selling, and merchandise keeps bands on the road,
Oh
especially
yeah.
now more than ever.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, no question about it. And I mean, without our merch, and that's why when we go and do festivals, a lot of times, or cruises, nothing against the cruise, a lot of times the merchandise just does okay. You make a
Yeah,
little bit, and it's not that it's about the money, but yet at the same time, when you're relying on something to help pull you out of the red, it's a big deal. But yes,
totally.
merchandise is everything to us, and we still do very well with merchandise, and it's literally saves us many
It
times.
does. It does. It keeps bands out on the road. And you know what? I think that's the great thing about the rock community as well. They really understand that. They understand that without those sales and without them going out and, supporting the band in that way, bands of this caliber can't stay out on the road sometimes. And that's of any caliber too.
Oh yeah, no,
But
for
I
sure,
think that people in this scene really get that. And I like that about the rock scene.
100%. And it's the past 2, 3, 4 years, maybe even 5 years after the pandemic, I've noticed a lot more buyers, club venues,
Yeah.
promoters, buyers wanting more and more of bands merchandise. And I just, we're one of those bands where we just kind of put our foot down and we say no. No,
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
that's our bread and butter. It's like, man,
It
you say
is.
God, it's like we got nothing. So yeah, it is a big deal. It's worth fighting for sure.
Exactly. I 100% agree. Now, obviously, you were saying a little bit that your dad played you a bunch of stuff growing up. Were there
Yes.
any particular influences that really got you into the scene that you got into rock wise?
Well, I remember my dad would play music, and then my dad would also sit up late at night and watch something called Don Kirshner's rock concert. And,
Okay.
yeah, this was in the '70s, and it was a big deal. And that came on late at night. It was usually like midnight or even 1 a.m.
Hmm.
And I'm in school. I'm supposed to be in bed. And I would wake up and I'd hear the TV and I'd know what he was watching, and I would make my way into the kitchen to get some water or what have you, when I was really just wanting to check out the band that I heard from the bedroom.
That's killer.
And I remember walking in there many times and seeing bands like Peter Frampton and saying, you know, my dad loved music so much that he wouldn't get on me for being out of bed. He would just, I would say, oh, wow, who's this? And he'd say, hey, Mike, this is Peter Frampton. Come sit down, you know? And I'd go
Yeah.
sit down and listen for a while. Or Journey. Journey was on playing Wheel in the Sky when they first came out with Perry, Steve Perry. And it just blew my mind. It really helped to shape me as a young musician. Incredible.
Yeah, I love that. And I love that you have so many different influences as well. I think that's awesome when people just pull different things from different artists of, like you said before, Elvis as well. Like,
Oh my
there's
God.
so much that can be learned from that man as a performer, singer, all of it.
Yeah, 100%. And it's, I don't compare myself to Elvis or say or think that he was an influence on me necessarily.
Mhm.
But I mean, it's really weird because I saw Elvis when I was 12 years old at the Forum in Los Angeles. I,
Cool.
I was fortunate to get to see Elvis, right? And it's the same night Led Zeppelin met Elvis. I found that out later on in life.
Hmm.
But I look at myself on stage sometimes and especially back in the day in the 80s, and there were little things I would do. I'm like, oh my God, I had to subconsciously get that from Elvis.
Yeah,
What am I doing?
exactly.
Like this thing with my arm, or just hilarious. But yeah, I mean, I grew up on Elvis. I used to air guitar to Chuck Berry when I was a little kid. And I loved
Yeah.
Chuck Berry and the way he'd do that walk, and I loved it. My mind was open. My favorite bands in junior high were Foghat and Bad Company. I started getting into that style. And then eventually I got more into heavier stuff in the early 80s, Maiden, Priest, Dio. Um, but I would always listen to Loverboy, Journey, Survivor, all the
Mhm.
poppy stuff too. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that so much. We're gonna wrap this up here. That's all the questions I have. But thank you so much for joining the podcast today. I really, really appreciate your time. I know you're a super busy man. And this was so much fun.
Cassidy, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for wanting to talk to me. I wish you nothing but the best. And if there's anything I can do ever regarding getting the word out there on all things Cassidy Paris, please tell me.
Thank
And
you so much. That's so kind.
anytime reposting, whatever you want, just let me know. And I'll be looking for you on the cruise. Maybe you can jam with us. Come up and sing a song or something. Who knows?
I would love that. I would absolutely love that. Everyone, Michael Sweet, thank you so much for tuning in, and we're signing off here.
Bye, y'all.